There was a time when people thought nu metal was gone, and now it's back.
Roach Koach
Podcast.
This is a special episode of Roach Koach because we're talking about who's tweeting.
Who's tweeting?
We're going to go over all sorts of stuff, Matt. To start off, we have to talk about who's in the newspaper.
Who's
Matt,
in the newspaper?
Roach Koach is in the newspaper, baby.
Oh, that's right. We are.
That's right. I want to give a big Roach Koach shout out to one Ed Power, independent journalist. He's written all over the place in Europe, but he was writing for The Independent. He had to do an article talking about the return of nu metal. He had to write an article about how nu metal is back.
Yeah.
And he went and emailed one place, the Roach Koach podcast, baby. He said, hey,
You're my source.
I need some quotes. I need some feedback. And Ed was very nice. He's very cordial. He sent over a list of questions for us to answer. Matt, you said, Lauren, dig into these questions for me, buddy. And I said, gladly. I will say, I did reach out to one Indigo Angel, Jennifer Sosha, with these questions as well. She gave me some great feedback as well that I incorporated into my answers. And it was a true pleasure and delight to see myself quoted in the paper, to see Roach Koach represented in the paper. And on top of that, to see my name spelled correctly, let me tell you.
What a joy.
Let me tell you, I am somebody who's seen his name, first and last, slaughtered for 42 years, okay? All right? And listen, you're saying, Lauren, that's a lot of people make the mistakes. Listen, I will be writing out notes for this show, and I'll write my own name, and this computer will be like, are you sure about that? So,
Are you sure it's not L-A-U?
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty darn sure.
I know my name. So anyway, to see my first and last name spelled correctly in a paper of record, incredible feeling. The article, I felt, was very kind to nu metal, which is, that was a slight worry I had.
Felt like a breath of fresh air there.
I got it. I was like, man, I really hope I didn't contribute to a hit piece. You never know. But it came out well. A number of listeners pointed out to us when we posted the clip on some of the clips.
Oh, I noticed it right away too.
That instead of calling the song Break Stuff, he called it Break Something. That's fine. Listen, editors miss stuff all the time.
And journalists are people. So
Journalists are people too. But I thought Ed did a great job talking about nu metal, about talking about how it's back. I thought that honestly, I gave him a lot of quotes. I wasn't sure how much was going to make it. Quite a bit did. And I was happy to take part in the continued rehabilitation of nu metal, a genre we love. And just felt great. It was wonderful. And you know what? Get to send that over to my parents going, listen, I ain't wasting my time over here. I'm doing the work. Journalists are coming to me for quotes, right? So thank you so much, Ed. Thank you so much to The Independent. And Matt,
number one, thank you very much for doing that, because on my end, it wasn't that I didn't want to have input or anything like that, but it was also like when I read his ask, it seemed like it was happening quickly. And being that we are two dads,
we sure are,
with busy lives, I was like, let me not be the stumbling block for this. I have a feeling that you are going to represent Roach Koach and the ideals of this show incredibly well, since you and Jenny created it together, and right. I've come along for the ride,
right,
and have, in my own right, become a nu metal enthusiast and knowledge tank, which
who knew?
I had no idea that would happen. But I thank you very much. And I read the article, and it was delightful to see your poll quotes, and I was like, that's us. We did this. We made it, baby.
We made it, baby. So
now we have your excellent quotes about nu metal, and I'm in the free press talking about being disappointed in Eminem.
There it is.
Two boys getting quoted in papers.
We're getting quoted in papers, and listen, anybody who knows Jennifer Sosha will know that she was once on the local news about a piece of ice sculpture, or a piece of ice that resembled
The Virgin Mary.
the Virgin Mary. An incredible thing. So we're all in the news in somehow, some way. And
Now
you
that
know what?
all three of us have been in the news,
Yeah. Mhm.
The powers are even stronger.
We're coming together.
We're
Yeah.
coming together.
We're coming together. You can head on over to the Independent to read the entire article. And I know I put it up in the story. I will make sure that I have I will prominently place it in the grid. It's got to be in the Instagram grid. It's got to be in the grid. We got to preserve
Yeah,
it
we
in the
should
grid.
pin that.
Pin it in the grid. Absolutely. Matt, we got to talk about who's going new.
Who's going new?
Matt, we received a message from our friend, Roach Rider for Life, Skribbal.
Longtime friend of the show.
Longtime friend of the show. Longtime listeners will know that Skribbal once gave us the hookup, got Jenny and I into JD live on his solo tour, hooked us up with passes. It was beautiful. We had a night of our lives. And Skribbal's been dropping heaters for years. But he's always been teasing out, I'm doing the rapping, but I need to bring in a little bit of that rocking. And so he messages us and he goes, guys, I've done it. I've done it. I have made a new metal record. And he didn't just make a new metal record, guys. Okay. He didn't just say like he did something and slap it on there. He put this record out. He's putting it out. By the time you hear this episode, the album will have been out. It comes out November 22nd. He made it with two gentlemen. One whose named is SVH, who's an off-the-wall guitarist, best known for his work with one Brian Head Welch of Korn. Perhaps you've heard of them. On top of that, he also has, and I'm just going to read straight from the press release because I think they nailed it, the blistering sounds of Abel Catfish Vallejo on drums. Impressive credentials include working with such bands as Korn, Pantera, and Anthrax. Vallejo's percussion brings a raw energy and intensity that perfectly complements the album's fierce soundscape. This album, everyone, it's called Electric Lungs.
There it is.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it. So Skribbal said, listen, I got a bunch of heaters here. Take a listen. Tell me what you think. Pick out one or two to play for the Roach Riders and Indigo Angels to get them amped. All right. Because here's the thing. Skribbal, he wants you in the pit on this record. All right. He wants bodies surfing. He wants bodies flying. All right. So I went through this record. I heard a lot of riffs, heard a lot of rapping, heard a lot of singing, heard a lot of things. Picked out two. Matt, you have not had a chance to listen to this record yet.
No, I have not.
You've been a busy papa, and I understand.
And I will say, Skribbal had reached out to me, and like a cad, like a bad guy, I had not responded. So I'm so glad we are taking the time on this show to listen to these because I'm very excited. Skribbal has been nothing but nice to me. I've been on his show quite a few times. Fan of Skribbal. So I'm excited to hear this.
All right. So the first song we're going to listen to is called Torn.
Sound can't take me down, holding the ground. Visceral visions emerge underground. They cower from pulsating power to pounds, pounds. Motherfucker, bounce. I bleed every ounce on the page. High in the range, releasing the power within me. Whenever I'm blessed the stage, I am a drug. I'm the one to tear you down again.
Brother, what?
This motherfucker spitting.
For real life spitting. For real life.
Spitting. I got many thoughts on this track.
Is he yeah. Wait. Is he doing all of the vocals or is there
That I don't know. If this is him doing all of them, awesome. If there's another gentleman, I did not see anyone else listed. I mean, there are some other guests on the record, but I don't know if he's doing those vocals on the chorus or not. If he is, incredible. Renaissance.
Incredible.
If he's not, whoever he got,
Incredible.
yeah, listen, we got two different types of Torn right up top, okay? And let's the other thing, okay, is that I initially saw the song was called Torn. You know what I thought? I was like, nothing more new metal than the cover. Natalie
Imbruglia,
let's
Torn,
fucking go.
let's go.
But it wasn't, and it's still, I was amped because I heard two different types of Torn before he went in. On top of that, I'm listening to this, and I'm like, you know what? You know what this would go great with?
Ooh, what's that?
Jason Statham drop kicking a guy through a window.
Ah.
And then I'm like, wait, what's coming out soon? Like, it hasn't been filmed yet, but you know it's coming. Beekeeper 2. This is it, baby. Jason Statham's gonna roll in. He's gonna rip you a new one. You're gonna hear Torn. And then he's gonna, you know what he's gonna do? He's gonna kick a guy out a window, and then as the guy lands, he's gonna like land funny but not be dead. And he'll stand up and be like, oh, I'm okay, and then he'll get hit by a car while this song plays. Beekeeper 2, let's make it happen. Get Skribbal in there. He's got a ripper. Incredible. Now I'm listening to the record. I'm hearing all this. I'm hearing the spitting. I'm hearing the guitars. I'm hearing all this stuff. And I hear this song, and I went, now here, listen. Skribbal, he's been listening to the show for a long time. He said he's a Roach Rider for life. He knows this show. He said to me in one of the DMs that this is my favorite podcast of all time. So I'm like, I appreciate that. Then I hear this song and I go, now he could be wrong. He'd be like, I wasn't thinking of you guys when I made this song, but I feel like that he may have been thinking of us with the beginning of the song. And Matt, I think you're going to know why in a second. If you can play us Iron Sky.
Come on. The knife is crammed in the sea. Spiral the dam as the panic unleash. The sanity's reach, humanity's niche. Suck in the spry, abandon the weak motherfucker.
Matt, how'd you feel about getting changed right there?
You know, I was okay with it. I was okay. I was okay. I mean, you know, I'll make it through. I'll be okay. But you know what? At the beginning, it felt very reminiscent of a certain song on the Judgment Night soundtrack, which got me extra hype. And then I was like, this is good combo. Just a good combo, like the riffs. I know Skribbal, and I've known, we've obviously, I mean, he's been with the show for the 8+ years that we've been doing it. And I know that Ice-T is a big part of his life in terms of like heroes and, you know, people that he's listened to a ton. It's got that like body count feel to it as well, you know? And I'm
Absolutely.
like, I'm in. I like this.
I heard this chainsing and I was like, I gotta believe there's some intentionality behind this chainsing that's happening. I'm all about it. I'm feeling it. I'm loving it. And then I'm listening to this one, and you know me, I'm just thinking about, you know, now, you know, that I've been featured in the Independent, I'm just thinking of other ways in which we can work new metal into the world. And I'm like, okay, Beekeeper 2, that's one way to do it. Another way, you hear this song, Matt, and I can only think of one shape, and that is the octagon. Come on, baby. Can you imagine if you are like, all right, it's time for me to get out there. It's time for me to throw down. And then your opponent comes out to Iron Sky? You're done, baby. That guy's going to be all feet and hands. You're not even going to see it coming.
All feet and hands.
You're going to wake up in another building the next day and go, did I lose? That's what's going to happen. All right, so that's our pitch. That's our pitch. It's out now. Electric Lungs, Skribbal. He's gone new metal. He's bringing the riffs. He's bringing the rhymes. What more do you need, Matt?
Buddy.
We've got to talk about, this is a big one. We've got to talk about who's touring.
Who's touring?
There's so many bands have announced 2025 tours.
Dates are rolling in.
I got to tell you, 2025, you're going to see a lot of road dogs. All right?
Yeah.
You're going to see buses coming through your town. You're going to go, who's here now? Someone was just here. Listen, bands are touring. 2025, wheels rolling to your town, away from your town, to another town to rock some more faces. The first tour, I want to thank every single Roach Rider and Indigo Angel that sent us this poster the moment it was up. We appreciate it. Every single one. And that is that Papa Roach and Rise Against, with special guest Under Oath, are going on a tour in 2025, and that tour is called Rise of the Roach.
The Rise of the Roach.
Many people have pointed out that Matt and Oz coined the term Rise of the Roach when introing one of our many wonderful playlists that we've done over the years. Honor, who's tweeting
I believe it was Vandals Can't Handles 2, or was it The Wolf? Andrew Wolf.
I want to say, I believe Rise of the Roach is Vandals Can't Handles 2.
Rise of the Roach.
The Rise of the Roach. But here's the other thing. I can't remember anymore. So you can let us know.
And I've done no research.
Listen, we're not going to go back and check. But we know that we said it. Matt said it many a times on the show. So now, listen, Papa Roach, listen, credit where it's due. They were first. They are technically our namesake. It's fine. They can do that. So that tour will be zip, zapping, zopping all over the United States of America and I believe Europe. I don't have the dates in front of me. I just have the poster saying that it's going to happen. And so, yeah, should be a great time.
And I did a nickel's worth of research. It was Vandals Can't Handles 2, The Rise of the Roach.
There it is. All right, Matt. Second tour. This was announced. Everyone's been waiting on this one. They've been teasing this one. Linkin Park, the From Zero World Tour, a true world tour. Our good friend of the show, Josh Toomey, pointed out that this is an actual legit world tour. You know, people say world tour all the time, and you know they fly around the United States, they play London, then they go to Tokyo, and they're like world tour, baby. But no, Linkin Park, they're going all over, and they're going all over to such a degree that they have to get 7 different openers because all these openers can't keep up. Linkin Park, they're going to be everywhere. These openers, select dates. Interesting mix of openers, Matt. Who do we got?
Well, number one with a bullet, your favorite, AFI.
Listen, love these guys. Love them. So many great songs. Don't ask me to name a single one. Great work all around.
Number 2, Architects.
Okay.
Number 3, Grandson. Now, I've not heard a note of Grandson.
I don't know. I have not heard anything by Grandson. I will say that off the top of my head, I hear the name like Grandson, and I go, well, you're opening for Linkin Park, so you're doing something right. But you also named your band Grandson. Which is, I would say, is a top 10 bad band name. Pretty bad.
Yeah. All right, we have to. I cannot not hear. Right. Wow. With over 700 million listens.
700 million people are listening to Grandson. All right.
This is blood / water. All right, I get it.
But listen. This is just, listen. If your Uber's running late, getting to the venue, nothing to worry about. You're just missing Grandson. No worries.
Who cares?
Get that pretzel. All right? Get it. You're not missing a thing.
Is peak bathroom break music. You're fine.
Listen, you know what? Take a number 2. Go for it. You've got the time. You know
what? You're in a venue you may have never been in before. Why don't you check out the architecture?
You know what? While you're in the venue, because they're going to be playing some big rooms, you know what? The thing is that nowadays, they've upped the ante in regards to concessions. It used to be back in the day, there was like a stand, and they had a burger, and they had some pizza, and you were a happy person. But now, they've gotten more exotic. They have like restaurants. You can go in and sit down. You know what I mean? You can take it all in. And now, with knowing that at certain select dates, Grandson will be opening, you can take part in that now because you're not going to be missing a GD thing. Good to know. All right. Matt, who else is opening for Linkin Park?
Gene Dawson, another band I've never heard of.
Not familiar.
Should we? I mean, now we're just indulging, but
I guess let's check out Gene Dawson.
all right, here we go. Their number one song, 1.4 million listens. This is Darlin'.
Would you bring me flowers often?
And I'm about to break. Okay, I mean,
Listen, my apologies to AFI. I'm sorry I said anything bad about you.
how fucking dare you?
I can't believe I did that. All right. Well, here's the thing. Next up, JPEG Mafia.
This is Gonzo. I love the JPEG Mafia inclusion. He is going to confuse so many people.
But he's got bangers. He's got bangers.
He's got bangers for sure, but he's crazy.
Yeah.
Live.
I think that's fine. Paris, I know they're kind of, I want to say like pretty standard alt metalcore situation. Honestly, not surprised to see them here. And of course, Spirit Box.
I love the Spirit Box inclusion. That's
there you
fine.
go. Yeah. So, and also, if you get there in time to see Spirit Box, then you are supporting women in rock. You're better than us because we missed them when they opened for Korn because we were stuck in traffic.
I have watched some Spirit Box since then, and they crushed.
They rock.
They were really, really on.
They bring the heat. Now, Matt, this tour, of course, is in support of Linkin Park's brand new album, From Zero.
Are you going to give me your first impressions of From Zero?
Matt, you bet I am.
First impressions. You had me at hello.
Matt, I can tell you that I have a physical copy of the album. I picked it up from 13 Floor Records in Seymour, Indiana.
Holy.
For a sweet $13.13, because that's their fun little thing that they do there. And what I can tell you is that on first listen, I thought it was pretty solid. Pretty good, even. It's 32 minutes long.
Wow.
That's right.
It cooks then.
It cooks. And I think it runs the gamut of just about everything that Linkin Park has done through their entire career. You've got some new metal rippers. You've got some alt rock bangers. You've got a couple sort of poppy ones, but nothing at the level. I saw a few people compare some songs to One More Light. I can assure you that there is nothing on From Zero as bad as anything on One More Light. And I would say that overall, Emily acquits herself well. She sounds good. Shinoda sounds good. I would say overall, it does not break the mold. Now, I did text with a few people, and one person who asked to not be quoted, and I won't quote them, but some people were not thrilled with it, thought it had a lot of filler. I didn't think it really had filler. I think this is setting the tone for Linkin Park 2.0. And by covering all the bases, by hitting all the sounds, by being familiar, I think this is the smart move. You don't want to try to like reinvent Linkin Park right now. Try that later, you know? And for the most part, I just thought it sounded pretty solid. I would say of the recent, I mean, if we're going to compare it to, you know, recent returns, I mean, it's not as good as Still Sucks, but Nothing is. And it's not as good as Ohms, and Nothing is. And it's not as good as The Nothing by Korn. I don't, you know, I'd say, you know, of those recent ilk, I would put it on the lower hand. But as a, you know, to be crass, but as a reestablishment of Linkin Park Inc., it feels like the franchise.
Because that's exactly what this is. The industrial complex that is Linkin Park made a move to make sure that they could go on a world tour.
Yeah.
And that makes sense that it would be a, dare I say, safe record that they could launch a world tour on, play the hits, and be once again out in the world, out in the marketplace.
Yeah. I mean, content-wise, it's pretty par for the course for what Linkin Park songs are about. And I mean, something like Two-Faced, which I'll go on the record and say is probably the best Linkin Park song since anything on Meteora.
That's Faint Part 2, right?
No, Faint Part 2 is Heavy as the Crown. That's Faint
right.
Part 2.
That's right.
No, I would say, yeah, Two-Faced is the one where I was like, okay, yeah, this is what I want. I mean, if they had 3 more of that one, I'd give it even better. But I mean, I'd say for the most part, it sounds like, you know, listen, if this thing was an hour, I'd be like, these guys are out of their goddamn minds. But the fact that it's a half an hour, Gets in, gets out, gives you all the Linkin Park things you need. I'd say they understood the assignment and they did well. So look for us to cover this record in 11 years, but we'll get to it. We'll get
That
to
seems
it.
right.
That seems about right. Matt, there's another tour going on
Ooh.
and accompanied a new record, and it's our girl Poppy.
Yeah, I'm Poppy.
That's right. Poppy has a new record out. It is called
Negative Spaces is the name of the record.
All
yes.
right. Excellent. I was worried I forgot. So, yeah. So, the new Poppy record, yeah, we have the tour. They're all around us. She's going out. She's going all around the United States of America, hitting all the key locations, including Louisville, Kentucky, Detroit, Michigan, Cleveland, Ohio. She's hitting them all. She's also playing Texas like 5 times. So, this Negative Spaces album, Matt, would you like my first impressions on this album as well?
I would love to hear your thoughts on this.
So, Matt, since Poppy Did I Disagree back in 2020, which made us all fans and had us we became such fast fans that we all immediately convened at a Poppy concert and had a wonderful time. I Disagree is still, I think, far and away the best Poppy album.
I'd agree
Since-
completely.
Since then, in the last 5 years, 4 years, 5 years, she's released that record. She's released the album Flux. She's released the Eat EP. She's released her record Zig, and now she's released this one. So she's been pumping out the music. Now, we've discussed in the past, Flux, didn't really care for that one. It's not bad, but it's no, I disagree. Zig is a weird album. I feel like half of it is really good and half of it is negligible. And now here we are with Negative Spaces. She's working with Jordan Fish, formerly of Bring Me the Horizon. And so we have a number of songs on this album that sound like Bring Me the Horizon, which is something that is afflicting the scene because I don't know how many albums I am hearing that it's just, yes, I have also heard Bring Me the Horizon. Well done. So have you. The Bring Me the Horizon sound is just infiltrated, like the metalcore and the metal scene at a level that is, I honestly, shocking. I didn't realize everybody wanted to sound like one band that badly, but everybody does. As it is, it's, I would say, probably her most enjoyable record front to back since I Disagree. I don't think it's as good as it. But the thing that's funny is that the songs that are more electronic dance on it, I think are superior to any of the rockers because the rockers all sound like Bring Me the Horizon. And the dance ones sound more like Poppy, who she is. So, I mean, overall, I think it's a good record. I just think it's a little or a lot of derivative of other bands. But also,
I haven't taken much time with it yet. I have Zig. I've listened to Zig. I enjoyed Zig, but I Disagree is, I mean, for this show in particular and for what we're going for in this show. I mean,
right.
I don't think she's going to come close to that anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
Although, I mean, what she did with our boys with Suffocate.
Yeah, Knock Loose. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with Knock Loose. That was pretty great. That was really great.
Let's not mince words. It's fucking incredible. So I would say this is probably going to be a pretty good tour. She does not list who her special guests are, so I guess buckle up for that. And I'm realizing now, Matt, that we didn't even see who opened up for her last time because we got a late dinner and then Jenny made friends with the security and then we just slipped right in right as she started. So we didn't see the opener last time. So
that's correct.
Could have been anybody. Matt, one more tour. Not really a tour, but it's a show. And
this show seems like it was tailor-made just for my buddy Lauren.
It's tailor-made just for me. And of course, it's on a day and in a location that I literally physically cannot get to, but we've got to talk about it anyway. First of all, it's at Jewel of Michigan, the Machine Shop.
Oh, yeah.
It is January 29th, Wednesday, 2025. Headliner, Filter. Filties unite in Flint, Michigan. Not only that, Filter on its own, fantastic, great. Headlining a set in the Machine Shop, what a dream. Opening for Filter, one of my top 10 favorite bands of all time, Local H. Stunned. When I saw this, I was like, you're doing this, fantastic. You're doing this at a venue and a date I cannot make it to? destroying my life. You're ruining my life. That being said, I'm very excited this is happening. All the same. And for a brief moment, I'm like, are they taking this bad boy on the road? They're literally doing this lineup 2 times. This show and the day before they're playing Bloomington, Illinois. That's it. That's it for
Holy
this
shit,
tour.
for
Yeah,
real?
that's it. Now,
We get one of 2 shows.
you get 1 or 2 shows. Then at that point, then they're going to split off. Local H have already teased that they're going to have a bunch more dates in 2025. Filter will be joining one Jerry Cantrell on his tour, supporting his new album, I Want Blood. And that we have previously talked about on the show. 2
Yes.
dates, both within an hour of my house, both on days that may not work for me, but I'm going to figure something out. Listen, maybe I can't see Filter with Local H, but am I going to see Filter with Jerry Cantrell? I gotta figure this out. Now, also when I did post about this on my social media about this show, Jenny did message me and say, you have to go to this. You have to figure this out. And I'm like, I agree. But also I have a job and a child. I don't know. And he literally has an eye appointment that day. I don't know what I'm going to do. So in any event, if you are a Filty, or I don't even know what Local H fans are called, Lokies, if you're a fan, you definitely need to go. Tickets are $25 in advance.
That's so reasonable.
So reasonable. You're going to be within spitting distance of 2 of my faves. 2 of my faves. And at one of the finest venues in the United States of America, the Machine Shop. So yeah. So these are incredible tours all going on. And you can, if you want to know more, go to gugu.com. Johnny Resnick will direct you on where you need to
Let
go.
Johnny Resnick be your guide.
Absolutely. Matt, who's getting that Roach Koach bump?
Roach Koach bump.
We received this news, and I'm going to say it. We're going to take credit. We're going to take that credit. Godsmack's self-titled debut album lands its 5th multi-platinum certification. For those at home who don't know what that means 5 million copies of the self-titled Godsmack album. With those eyebrows that confounded Jenny as a young woman. 5 million homes, Matt, possess this album. 5 million car stereos.
5 million.
5 million.
That's so many.
So many millions. And we have talked about Godsmack on this show many a times. We read Sully's book and talked about it on the show. We definitely had something to do with this. And even though we have not always been the biggest supporters of Godsmack first album, definitely new metal, definitely has some rippers on it. It's got Keep Away on it. It's got Voodoo. It's got whatever.
I mean, I have been on record saying how much I do not like Godsmack.
Mm-hmm.
But if it weren't for MTV's Fear, I would. That show would not have been as good without Voodoo.
There it is. There it is, Matt. There it is. A second Roach Koach bump. This was sent to us. We were tagged. We were tagged on this notice. Dry Kill Logic will be returning to the stage after 19 years and plan to release new music to follow up their 2020 single. Kelly K. Fresh Frazier tagged us, said, did Roach Koach have anything to do with this? Yes. Yes, we did. We gave him the bump.
Yep, by giving him the bump.
Listen, we talked about Dry Kill Logic on the show twice, over 8 years. Those episodes resonated. Resonated.
Just
all right?
like their albums do.
Absolutely. And that first Dry Kill Logic record in the new metal canon. In the canon. So, absolutely. So, Dry Kill Logic, welcome back. We're happy to see you. It's time to start activating them pits. Them pits have been waiting for you to activate them. Let's get out there, baby. Let's get out there. The Roach Koach bump. It can happen at any time. All right, Matt.
Buddy.
I'm waiting to talk about who's in those DMs.
Sliding up in.
Matt, we have a DM from Blake of Steppa.
Yeah.
Matt, would you like to read what he had to say?
Sure. This is for the Who's Tweeting that came out 2 weeks ago. Blake writes, fellas, last episode was fire emoji. Not only was there a gratuitous Steppa shout out for which we are eternally grateful. Guess I'm going hang gliding now, which was a bit that we did on the show. And then he references that he's 6'7" and 330 pounds, but seems safe. But also medication. Steppa did a tour with medication. I have touched Logan Mader's nipple. This is huge.
It's huge.
news.
Huge news.
Have physical pics of him lighting off fireworks in Nebraska, etc. If y'all ever cover that album on the show, keep us in mind. Would love to chat about it and our tour times with them. Y'all are the best. Hope you're holding it together amidst the craziness. We're doing everything we can. But Blake, you put out the call. Lauren, fill in the second part of this story. Did you find medication?
I found medication. I found the album. It was tough to find. It's out of print and it's not on streaming. But listen, I got Johnny Resnick by my back, baby. Goo.com. I did that work. I hit them internet streets and I have the files, baby. I got them and I heard them. The band is rocking. The band is rolling. Are we going to cover them on the show? You bet your ass. But let's not overlook something, Matt. We have been swooning over Logan Maynard for many years.
Oh yeah, the moment we saw a picture of that
shirtless
goofball,
Jenny finding his Wikipedia page and that photo that was used for his Wikipedia page made us fans for life.
Oh yeah,
learning that not only did the boys in Steppa and Blake share stage time, share presence with this man, touched his nipple. Top 10 brag. Top 10 brag.
Huge brag.
Listen, that is, I would say, is one of those things where it's like, by the way, Matt, I don't know if this summer, you, me, and Jenny met Fred Durst.
I've heard.
Yes. We talk about this every now and again. Just bring it up. I would also do that if I touched Logan Mader's nipple. I'm just saying. I'd mention it. It would come up. I might put it in a bio. I don't know. Just saying. Incredible deed. I remember yelling when I read this DM. And yeah, sought out medication immediately. Got a little worried because I did see some Discog prices that made me go, eaga. But got them MP3s. Hyped to do it. We're definitely going to do it on the show. 2025. Buckle up. All right. Then we got a DM from, honestly, one of our top tier commenters and listeners, Dr. Bullshit.
Love this.
Been listening to the coach all day in preparation to see Soil, Non-Point, Head PE, and the Union Underground, and just thought, you got to do that fourth Non-Point album, To the Pain. It's literally the best one.
Holy.
Now, Matt, Non-Point have many albums. All right. They have a discography you might say could rival Soulfly in the level of how many albums they have. The number of albums being 10. I looked up To the Pain, and according to this, it says that To the Pain is their 6th studio album. I think they maybe are counting some of the other like independent ones. But I want to talk about this album cover, Matt. Can you pull this album cover up so you can take a look at it? All right. Let me know when you've got it up.
Let me pull this up here. To the Pain.
That is a broken wine glass filled with nails. I see this, and I'm like, what are we dealing with here? A cracked wine glass filled with nails? This is one of the most new AF album covers I've ever seen.
That's wild.
So I see this. He's telling me it's one of the best. Based on this album cover alone, I'm inclined to agree. Based on album cover alone, I'm like, this is already best Non-Point album. I can't wait. I can't wait to dive in. Dr. Bullshit, your prescription accepted. Getting it filled right now.
My insurance accepts this prescription.
It does. Matt, it does. Matt, you know what? It's, believe it or not, we are almost close to the end of this episode of Roach Coach.
That's true.
And there's only one way to close out an episode of Roach Coach. And that is with Stupid Effin' Matt's new core for old heads.
Oh, I'm dumb.
I like that one. I like that one.
I was really going for it.
Oh, that was a good one. Matt, we've heard a lot of rippers on this list so far. A couple that have been pointed out to us we've already done on the show before. Listen, I can't remember. I hear a new song again. Hear a song again. It's like hearing it for the first time. Absolutely. So if we have heard this next song before,
it's like hearing it for the first time when you forgot.
When you've forgotten, yeah. So Matt, what are we listening to this week?
Oh, buddy, I'll tell you right now that we are listening to Victims with Darius Tirani. This is Carefully Caged. Money in the Bank.
That's Money in the Bank, Matt. It's a song like that. You hear it and you go, listen, time to renew the vows. Do the wedding all over again. I got a song to walk down the aisle to, baby. There we go.
I got a song.
You got the dueling voices there. The one guy's, I'm assuming dueling voices. It sounded like dueling voices because you got the one guy's yelling, and then the other guy's, he stood on his toes and was like, I'm going to yell even harder. And I really, truly enjoyed that. That is a song that has no chill, and I mean that as a compliment. That, yeah.
You know, sometimes I don't want chill.
Don't need it. Get it out of here. Give me somebody who's got no chill. Somebody with a problem. Somebody who showed up to the studio and was like, parking was bullshit.
Things aren't going right.
Not happy at all. Not happy at all. And they're like, cool, get in the booth. Stop talking to me and get in the booth. You got a performance to do. And that's what we got right here. That's what we got right here.
Love it.
This is Bonafide Ripper. Well done.
Now, before we wrap up the show.
Yeah, man.
I have a couple of things that I want to bring up.
Ooh.
Number one, Fred Durst appearing on the John Goblikon talk show, or now podcast, which I think is not right now because that was the name of the late night show that John Goblikon did. But I guess this is the Goblikon podcast. Anyway, Fred Durst appears on it, but he doesn't appear as Fred Durst. He appears as Mike, I believe. Scuba Mike is the character that Fred Durst plays on this. Have you had a chance to check this out?
I've watched a few of the clips. I've not watched the full thing, but I have watched a few of the clips. And it seems like this is very much the type of thing. I mean, I've watched some of the Goblin interviews in the past, and this seems pretty par for the course. I'm not really surprised at all that this is how it went down. I'm going to be honest, not really my vibe with some of the type of things that I'd watch. But when I watched the clip, I'm like, seems about right. Did you watch the whole thing?
I haven't finished it yet. Definitely have seen all the clips. Love that. What I liked most is that he just kept doing, John Goblikon kept doing Limp Bizkit lyrics to Fred as Mike, and having Mike be like, yeah, that sounds crazy. It is very much Fred's sense of humor.
Absolutely.
Like that, like watching a lot of Limp Bizkit stuff when they're being crack ups, for lack of a better term, or being funny, it is usually a razor's edge of cringe meets discomfort.
Right.
You know, like that Tom Green show vibe.
Absolutely. Yes.
Where it's just like,
yeah.
No, the further that we can push this into absurdity and awkward pauses, yeah, it is. That's the sweet spot for them. And a little bit of that goes a long way for me. I am such a classic comedy fan, meaning like, just give me 90s Conan and that's all I need.
There you go.
I like jokes, but no, I thought it was cool, and I wanted your take on that.
Yeah. No, yeah. I was happy to listen. Anytime Fred's out there letting everybody know that he's just a guy who likes to goof around and be silly, it's good. It's good. It's good for the culture.
I would say the West Borland one is my favorite of all the John Goblikon stuff. Because when he does his, John Goblikon establishes that he has a Fred Durst impression, and he does it for Wes, and it actually cracks Wes up. That moment's pretty good because he's, let me do you my impression, and it's just him going, yeah. Like that's his whole impression.
Hey, that's sometimes listen, I don't know if you watched SNL lately, but listen, the bar is low for impressions these days. Okay. So if you got a line or a word, sometimes that's all you need. It's not, listen, the days of Bill Hader and Phil Hartman embodying somebody in an impression, long gone. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Long gone.
No,
all right. It's a very old guy thing to say, but let me tell you, long gone.
Oh my gosh.
Listen,
There was
there's
something. I wanted to ask you, New Throne.
Matt, let me tell you that I received a notification on a website called facebook.com.
Okay.
Which I sometimes go on because I'm in my 40s. I still go on Facebook. And it said that the venue St. Andrews Hall, which I do not live near anymore, but I still follow, might have an event I might be interested in. And I said, okay. And it told me that a band called Throne was going to be playing a show there. And it listed their genres and what they do. And I was like, this sounds like a band that might be up my alley. So I went and looked them up, saw they had a new album, saw that it was 21 minutes long. And I said, I'll add that to the old Apple Music queue. But I didn't listen to a song. I just added it. I said, I'll get to you later. And anybody who knows me knows I do that shit all the time. I got albums in my queue from years ago I've never listened to that I just heard about, added it, and then never got around to. I was driving to a work event, had like an hour and change in the car. And I said, let me just throw on old Throne. Check it out. This name of this album is Excessive Guilt. All right. The first song is called Guilt. And it's like they made the album and they're like, what do we want to call it? And he's like, after making this fucking thing, it's beyond guilt. We're at Excessive Guilt. And this thing goes so fucking hard for 21 straight minutes. As I said to you, Matt, in a text, this is rip off the roof of your car music. Okay. This is destroy machinery music. I am so blown away. This has completely upended my top 10 of the year list. I can tell you that much. There's like my life before Throne and my life after Throne. All right. Incredible stuff. And sometimes, listen, you listen to an album one time, it blows you away, whatever, the shock of the new. Went back to this thing. I listened to it again. Listened to it on a night drive. Once again, I was on a long drive. I put it on. This thing, it cooks. It works. I have no notes. 10 songs, 21 minutes, all fucking rippers. I know, Matt, you want to play a song. I believe you should play On the Verge.
All right, here's On the Verge. Wow.
I know you're listening to this right now going, Lauren, Matt, is it true? Can I go to St. Andrews Hall and have both of my arms ripped off to Throne? Yes, you can. All right? That is a possibility for you. I'm telling you, I listened to this and I was like, man, this is the type of music that guys who handle explosives for a living listen to unwind. You know what I mean? This is that kind of hard shit. I am blown away. Incredible stuff.
Awesome.
And here's the thing. I don't have any details on this band. All right. I just listened to it and I loved it. And then I listened to it again. Okay. I haven't done the deep dive. I don't know what their story is. I don't know what their deal is. I don't know if they got like a bunch of other albums. I don't know if this is the first one. I don't know if this is the last one. I don't know what's going on. All I know is that I love it. I love it. And I honestly can't believe I didn't put it on the thing and that you had to bring it up to me now. But
this is the first full length. They've been putting out music since 2021, but a lot of singles. Mm-hmm. Probably a lot of EPs, but this is the first real.
Mm-hmm. Now, here's the thing. I can already see it. Someone's going to tell us that we possibly covered this band on the show before. Maybe we did. I want to stress something that Matt brought up at the top of the show. We both have children.
That's correct.
They are aging us in real time. At work today, my coworker said, "Wow, you got a lot more gray in the front of that beard, Lauren."
Oh,
And I'm
yeah.
like, "Yeah, bro. He's 9 years old. That's right. More where that came from?
He's 9?
He's 9.
Oh my
He's
god.
9 going on 20. All right. I am aging. So if I have forgotten that I'd heard Throne before, my apologies. But I've heard him now, and I'm never forgetting him now. Never ever. Never
I
ever.
love it. I love it. I love it. Lauren, thank you so much for giving
Ah,
me some thoughts about Throne.
oh, you
I
are
might
welcome.
go see this show. I have a
You
feeling
might
it's going to be a good one.
Matt, listen, you go. Have your arms ripped out. No problem. Get yourself some really cool cable bionic arms. That'll be great.
That would rule.
That'd be awesome. Absolutely. So yeah, go see Throne in concert. Get decapitated. Don't even worry about it. That just brings us to the end of another episode of Roach Koach. Keep on saying hello to us online. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Blue Sky. We're on them all. Send us an email, roachcoachpodcast@gmail.com. Head over to the Patreon, patreon.com/roachcoachpodcast. Become a Patreon subscriber. The pact is ongoing. We just recorded the penultimate episode of the pact that will be coming in December. And we're very excited to wrap up that series before we dive into new fun stuff in 2025. But it has been a true blast.
I'm stoked for what's coming in 2025.
Absolutely. We have a great guest as well in this penultimate episode. And yeah, and until next time.